Today we're gonna head to one of the most remote areas in the entire world and look for probably one of the most extreme military bases you ever heard of. Well, we're gonna be heading up here to Greenland to look for stuff, and you probably think, well, it's probably somewhere here in Greenland. Nope, it's even further up north. It's all the way up here. But also we're gonna explore some of the towns here in the area, because the towns in this area are very important for the history of this military base we're gonna be looking at. So before we do anything else, let's just think about like where we are right now. Like, we are literally as far up as it almost is possible to go, and these communities here in the area are some of the most far northern native communities. Actually, I think this town right here, which we could look at first, is probably the most northern village inhabited by natives in the entire world. And by that I mean that, you know, there are places which are further up north, but they're only inhabited by, for example, researchers, you know, people from probably like some European country or America or Canada or whatever, which are up in some type of research station up here further up north, for example in Svalbard. But this is the furthest up north a town is, where like actually like the native population, they have lived here for a really long time. These are the people which are actually descendant of the last wave of migrants, which came, I think, in the early 1900s or the late 1800s, emigrating from northern Canada, like the Nunavut. Obviously, there are Inuits living in Nunavut and northern Canada. The same Inuits which migrated from here migrated into Greenland, and they did it just like with like boats and probably even crossing the ice and stuff. And they could do it by island hopping in between here, and you see how small the gap is in between. Like, they could easily make it over here, and that's how you know, the Inuits came to the Greenland in the first place. Anyway, let's look around a little bit in this town, see what it looks like. Hey, okay, that looks kind of abandoned. I mean, it doesn't look too cold at the moment. It's probably in summer. I don't see any snow even. What? Okay, I see snow over there. It doesn't look too cold. If you just look like this and told me this is summer in Southern Europe, I probably believed you. But then this water is probably freezing cold even in summer. This town, what was this town called now again? It's called Siorapaluk. Okay, that one. Okay, it seems like they're building a new house here. I wonder how they must have to ship all the materials for these houses, because there is zero trees around in this area. I like the fact that these houses are so colorful, because otherwise this place would just look so depressing. But probably everyone here owns a boat. Like, basically, what else is there to do here? But like, you can hike here a little bit, I guess. And you can like be in the ocean fishing. Like, what else can you do here? Like, what jobs do you have when living here? Like, besides like hunting and fishing? Like, I guess that's the only thing you could do here. Some type of like community building thing. I don't know. Oh, look, they have some type of playground for children. That's nice to see. Oh yeah, it's a helicopter pad. I suppose you kind of need it when you're this far off. It'd be nice to go on a hike here at least. They have a very easy access to that. But yeah, it doesn't seem like they have too much things to do in this area besides like that, and hiking and fishing is all you can do here. There's probably not a lot of crime being committed here, considering there's like probably like max 100 people living here. Like, if you commit a crime, everyone's gonna know you, and it's like, yeah, that's gonna be pretty awkward. Let's read a little bit about this place, because this doesn't tell me anything. Siorapaluk, I think that's how it's pronounced, I'm not sure, which is in the language of Polar Inuit. It has a population of 43 people. Yep, 43 people. Man, I guess, how are you supposed to find like a girlfriend here? Isn't everyone like kind of related to each other if it's only 43 people living? So I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna pretend I'm just not gonna think about it. Okay. As I said earlier, many of the inhabitants are the direct descendants of the last migrants of Inuits from Canada in the 20th century, and it is the most northern inhabited public settlement in Greenland, and one of the most northern places in the world. And it also is the most northernmost place inhabited by natives. As I said, this place is no joke. I mean, imagine, this is a picture of it from the outside. Dude, as I imagine living here, this is so out in the middle of nowhere, so far away from everything, which maybe is a good thing. I mean, I would also kind of want to go away from everything as well in a way. This isn't too bad. There is good hunting in the area of the settlement. There are many Arctic foxes and Arctic hares. Man, I almost forgot that there are like bunnies and stuff this far up north. That's insane. That's what they're hunting. And of course, an abundance of seals and walruses which are hunted. Man, I wonder what a walrus tastes like. Man, just look, imagine eating this thing. I mean, it's huge. I mean, he's just like a massive clump of fat. I mean, he surely must taste good. Do you think a walrus just tastes like an Arctic pig in a way? Because pigs are like kind of chilling, they're fat, and this kind of same thing. They look so goofy, man. Okay, here they're looking kind of cute actually. Look, it looks like they have a Arctic mustache going, you know what I mean? Settlement school, okay, they have a school, they have a church, they have a small public library. I mean, chill, they have a medical facilities, but guys, we need the important stuff. This isn't important. We need to know, is there a gym here? Like, that is vital for the survival. If they don't have a gym, how are they gonna survive without the gym here? I feel like that's an important thing for the population's mental health, you know what I mean? Coldest place ever to hit a bench press PR, like, come on. Okay, I'm gonna travel here just to build a gym for the natives. It would be the greatest donation. You know what, when like people go to like Africa to like build schools, bro, you're not helping. You're not helping at all. I am actually thinking about the important stuff in the world. I'm planning to go to Greenland to build a gym to the natives here in Siorapaluk. And they're gonna be so happy. Trust me, it's gonna be a great thing for them. And they even have an electric power plant. That's perfect. So they can make their own energy here. So the 3 villages we're going to be looking at today and the military base are all located within this region called Avannaata, which is here on the map. You can see where it's located. I mean, it's way better. Like, it's not that much border gore. Like, this region here in Greenland is just like a really weird. We have some pictures of what it looks like. Here we got the native Greenlanders standing with their flags. I noticed they're so tanned, which is pretty funny, because I noticed that you know, when you're up super far up north, people think, well, it's really cold, so you're not gonna build up a tan. It's actually wrong. When you're up in the far north, especially during summer, you build up tan like crazy, because it's 24 hours of sunlight, just constant. It's not even that hot or that intense sunlight, but just the fact that it's constantly, it never ends. You just get sunlight. You get really tanned up during summer. And this may be shot during summer, who knows, right? Because I don't see any snow on the ground, so this should be in summer, yeah. So it does make sense that they're very tanned over here. But their flag is really cool. We got these sled dogs. We got a Flundra, I think it's called in Swedish. Would love to catch one of those in Norway at one point. That's actually a dream fishing trip for me. Pituffik Space Base is an enclave on the Avannaata coast that is administered by the United States Space Force. And that is the air/space base that we're gonna be looking at today. Okay then, let's look around a little bit on the area. So here is the village called Qaanaaq, which is like a really good fishing village. There isn't much you can see here. Like, there's no street view or pictures. I don't even think there's any pictures of this place. Wait, there is actually. Okay, this is what it looks like. But in order to get more information, I think we're gonna read a little bit on Wikipedia. Qaanaaq is a small village in Qaanaaq area. Man, I'm just butchering every single name. This is another small village, and this only has 23 people living in it, man. I really hope they, you know, if you're trying to look for a girlfriend living in Qaanaaq, or whatever it's pronounced, you go to another village in the local area, and you just don't, like, you know, stay in that village, because eventually I think the people are gonna start looking a bit goofy. Qaanaaq is also known as a good place for halibut fishing, with the largest and most abundant Greenland halibut found in the fjord nearby. That's cool, man. I love fishing. So okay, here we have it, Thule, or whatever, which is not called anymore. It's called Qaanaaq. What weird that it's called Thule on Google Earth still. Well, there's actually quite a lot of stuff here. Look how beautiful the mountains here on this location are. There's like a weather station. We have the cow. No, did I just say cows? I've been yapping too much. I'm starting to call dogs cows. I'm insane. Look at this like native guy. He's aura farming with his pipe like crazy. Dude is chilling. Yeah, this is actually a pretty nice place. It must be a pretty chill life living here in Thule. Oh, I saw a cool looking aura farming picture. Yeah, this is looking cool with like the traditional pelts and everything. Yes, let's go. There is a street view. They got a traditional like Eskimo sled. Oh, they got a gun on it as well. Oh, I remember. I've seen that traditional native knife before, like above a monument to a Norwegian participant in some expedition. Pretty cool. Ooh, this is actually not bad. It's very colorful actually. Oh, what? That's a very unique design of a church entrance. They have a skolen, which means school. Playground, okay. They even have a gymnasium. What? We're here in Qaanaaq now. Fishing here must be really fun. I mean, that's like the only fun activity you have here, right? Funny that they have cars. Like, you can't really drive that far around in this area. Like, it feels like there's no roads leading anywhere. Boom. Okay, now it's in winter. Yeah, it must suck to live here in winter. This is no joke. Oh, it's a drone shot over the entire village. This is what it looks like. Man, it's like built in like a super symmetrical way, if you see what I mean. Like, they're all the houses are super symmetrical. Look at this. Do you see it? That's tracks. They can drive around with their snow scooters on there. Ice fishing here in winter must be really... That's like the only fun activity you have in winter in a place like this. You can do ice fishing and you can drive around in a snow scooter. Those are pretty fun activities, pretty fair. I wonder if they have like ptarmigan or stuff like that, what they can hunt in winter. That can also be fun activities. Boom, we are up on the hill. We got the view of the entire town. And all the ice, and imagine living here, that's crazy. Oh, whoa, they even got the Scooby-Doo mobile out here. Okay, now we're alongside the harbor, I think this is. Yep, this is where everyone has a boat. Like how can you live here without owning a boat? Like this is like unnecessary. You need to own a boat if you live in a place like this. So this is a bit weird because on Google Earth it's actually called Thule. Apparently here it says that it used to be called New Fool, but now it has been renamed to Qaanaaq. My guess is obviously that originally, because this was made together with a military base, they wanted to have like an English sounding name for this place. Decided to rename it to a Inuit name, so it kind of makes sense. The population of this town is actually 646. That is actually more than I thought. That's quite a lot. The population was forcefully relocated from its former traditional home, which was expropriated for the construction of the United States Air Base. This is why I want to talk about these villages in the surrounding area, because they are directly connected to the military base, because it says here pretty clearly the population was forcefully relocated from its former traditional home, which was in the location of where the Thule military base, or that is right now called Pituffik Space Base, is now located. That's where these people originally used to live. So basically in 1953 these people got forcefully moved from Pituffik over to this location that is now called Qaanaaq, because of the construction of this military base by the United States. And it's one of the most northern towns in the world. There's actually a lot of pictures of this place. Oh, I mean, look how cool it looks. There's actually a lot of houses. I mean, 650 people. That's not... Here's where it's located. Qaanaaq or New Fool. I mean, I've seen this, right? This looks so scary. I have never been doing kayaking, but it just feels so uncomfortable. The idea of like when you flip around with a small kayak and then you get underneath the water, like, and they make it seem so easy. So the way you get up when you flip around is that you hold up paddle above the surface, like you kind of like flip yourself over with it. Feels like I would just drown. I would not succeed in doing that. I would just drown. And this just like must be so cold in this water, because the Inuit originally crossed, you know, the strait here from Canada into Greenland via kayaks and other boats. It says here 2000 BCE, the Paleo Eskimos migrated from Canada. The first people that made contacts with the people up in this part of northern Greenland was in 1818. John Ross, who was British naval officer. In 1910, a Danish explorer called Knut and Peter, they established a missionary trading post called the site Thule, after classical Ultima Thule, which is basically, this is what they used to call like the most northern land in Greek mythology, I think, or like in Greek culture, as well as in Rome. They believe in this like land up in the far north, and they called it Ultima Thule. So apparently they were originally planning to build a military base here in Qaanaaq, but it wasn't really suited perfectly for the military base. They wanted to build it instead in what was already known as Old Thule, right? So instead they built this new place, they call it New Thule, and they relocated all the natives from where they wanted to build the military base at. Apparently 130 people were relocated to Qaanaaq from Old Thule, which is where they were from. In 2003, the Danish Supreme Court actually gave the tribe, the Thule tribe who lived in Qaanaaq, 500,000 Danish krona as a compensation, basically, because the fact that they forcefully, you know, relocated these people. They received compensation. Anyway, I think now we're gonna actually take a closer look to the military base called Pituffik and see if we can see anything interesting here from... Oh look, Greenland radio telescope. Okay. Oh yeah, look at these balls they got going here. Those are big balls. People looking through the telescope. Yep, they some type of radio telescope. Space base. Is there any pictures of it? Nope, no pictures. We can only see from the sky. We can see the massive like area here where the planes can land, and we got the harbor. I don't see a lot of activity here though. I don't see... They said there was only like 50 people here at the moment. At this peak there was like 6,000 people lived here at the peak, were stationed in the Cold War, but now only 50 people live here. So you can see like just how big this area is. This is like, it doesn't look like an area where only 50 people live. This is like, they still got everything left from how it used to be. It's sad that I don't have any more pictures of this area. Actually, here's some pictures. We got this massive airplane. Yeah, it looks, we got some Americans being sledded around by some local. But anyway, since we can't really see more pictures of it, let's go and actually read some of the history of Pituffik or Thule military base. Read about Thule Space Station or Air Base, but it's not actually called that anymore because they actually changed the name. Now it's called Pituffik Space Base, and I only think they did that a couple of years ago. Man, first of all, I gotta pick up the obvious thing. Like, look how cool the American space logo is. This is actually that goes hard. That goes really hard. This is what it looks like from the sky. Well, it looks pretty fitting. Apparently this is a American United States Space Force base located on the northwest coast of Greenland in the Kingdom of Denmark, under a defense agreement between Denmark and the United States. Apparently 150 United States service members are stationed there. Okay, that's actually quite a lot. And it seems like 150 is actually quite low, because at its peak it used to be 6,000 personnel during the Cold War station at this location. Now, man, that's not bad. I didn't even know that Denmark was a founding member of NATO in 1949 and 1951. I didn't know that. So apparently this military base have existed here for quite some time, actually. Yeah, here's another picture of what it looks like with the air base and everything. Wow, it looks pretty cool. Just a bunch of Americans here. Yeah, you see all the American airplanes here, 1955. This is a pretty interesting map. It shows the reconnaissance route, which the Thule Air military base is supposed to kind of inspect this entire area up in the Arctic. Man, they're even looking at Nova Zemlya in Russia. They're spying on them. That's crazy. And here is the Queen. Here's the Queen of Denmark even visiting the military base. Pretty cool. We got some northern lights going over it. United States Air Force. Apparently even in 2025, both J.D. Vance and Mike Waltz. But anyway, guys, that's basically the story of this area of Greenland, in northwestern Greenland, and this interesting American military base in this area. If you liked it, check out another one. I'll see you in the next one.